What is up, guys? We are back here with another video, and this I'm gonna do two videos. The first one here is gonna be telling you about my mistakes in buying product, since I've been doing this for about 4 years, I think. I think I started this YouTube channel in 2021 or so. I think I started the actual channel in 2020, but didn't upload until a year later in 2021. So I have some experience that I want to give you guys, especially when we have some sets coming out here that you guys should be focusing more your money towards, and some sets that you should be avoiding or not investing as much money into, so you can focus on the other sets that are actually going to be a little bit better. Because here's the thing, right? I think a lot of people get a little bit pissed off when you talk about money and card games like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Not necessarily because they are jealous, although there is some hints of that, yes. I think it's more the fact that they don't realize that, for at least from my side, I don't think I'm trying to be like a billionaire or whatever through cardboard. What I'm trying to do is avoid spending like $60 to $80 for a box and getting only $10 back, right? I think that is what I'm trying to minimize personally, and I want to help you guys avoid that as well. So, okay, starting off here, we're gonna look at what we know so far, at least for the TCG calendar. Stampede is gonna be the next set, April 11. Gonna be hot set, gonna be super hot. Alliance Insight main set, probably not as hot. Usually main sets don't do that well. And the reason why they don't do that well, I will talk a little bit more about on the second part of this series, because it's not really relevant here, but just know that usually main sets and side sets, there are reasons why people avoid them, right? Or reasons why they don't do that well. Yes, yeah, people are going to be like, well, what about this set? It was really good. I'll give you a recent set, actually. Rage of the Abyss was actually a really, really good main set. That doesn't mean all the main sets are going to be good, for reasons, right? And then Battles of Legend, Monsters Mayhem, June 13th. So the next 2 months are actually going to be pretty interesting because of Stampede and Mayhem. And then you also actually have an OTS pack, which you technically can't, you shouldn't be able to buy, if you follow Konami's advice on the packs that says not for individual retail. But you're gonna find these on eBay, and you can buy them, right? And there's in particular, this pack is going to have a Blue Eyes White Dragon with the SDK art in it as an ultimate rare, so it's going to be sought after. And then Duelist Alliance is another main set, right? So what I would do, right, is I would heavily focus on Stampede and maybe the OTS pack, if that's what if you guys are trying to get value back from the money you put in, where you don't, like I said, spend $60 to $80 and only make a very small fraction of the money back. Then those are the two that I would pick. Less so with OTS tournament packs. Okay, here we go. We're gonna jump right in here. Why am I giving this advice, right? So when I first started this channel, first of all, I did think that I should be opening up every single product because people would be interested in every single product, and that is just not the case. So if you are also trying to do this stuff on YouTube, right, people will probably watch multiple YouTubers opening up the same product, but they probably won't be watching it for all the products. You know what I mean? Like Brothers of Legend is a set that I actually kind of went in a little bit too deep in when I first started this. So this set came out in 2021. So this was the year I started actually going posting on YouTube. And the reason why, right, is this is a Battles of Legend type set. So I thought, okay, well, the previous trends of Battles of Legend were pretty good. So obviously this Brothers of Legend will also be pretty good. And if you actually look at a lot of the Battles of Legend type sets, sealed, just not even just the individual singles, sealed. Like Armageddon, I think is way above MSRP. It might have dropped because there's some stuff that got reprinted, but people like to chase stuff like 1,000 Dragon or whatever the hell it's called, 10,000 Dragon, whatever huge number, and then insert Dragon afterwards. That card, people like chasing it, right? So people are going to be opening it, and of course, the more you open, the less stuff there is in the population out there in the greater population. Then obviously it's going to be more expensive. So the using past trends, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a banger ass set, and it turned out not to be. So why, in retrospect, did this set turn out to be so bad? Well, it does. There's not a lot of collectability, right? So the stuff that you can collect is two Starlights. One was Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which decent, right? You know, it's a decent card, not the worst pick for sure. And then the other one was this Xyz card that was like an astral card, and I'm not really seeing it here, but it's like a fish. Is it a shark card? I don't think it's a shark card. Number that wasn't Stealth Kraken. Dang, how am I not? Oh, here it is, Leviathan Dragon, the first, literally the first one. And while this is also kind of cool, and again, looking at past trends, there was an Astral Utopia, and that one was selling pretty well. This one didn't, and for whatever reason, right? And also, again, you would expect this to do pretty well, but it stopped doing pretty well because it got reprinted, right? So Konami kind of took a shit here. They shit the bed with this set, and if they didn't do that, this set would still be a little bit like it wouldn't be good, but it would be a lot better, right? If you look at MSRP, this is probably like a $50 box right now in retail. So it's crazy what they did, yes. But if you actually look at beyond that, right? Because that's just the collectors. What you have here, there's not a lot of stuff that people actually want to pull. And it's like you have Forbidden Droplet, which at the time was pretty decent, but then it got reprinted. Nibiru, same thing. It was something people wanted, but it got reprinted soon afterwards. Relinquished Anima, pretty decent. It took a while for it to get popular, but it got reprinted. I think this is actually technically the reprint. And then we have Malicious Bane, Evil Hero, Dusted Gold, and Magician's Souls, which actually were carrying the set along with Forbidden Droplet, but they got reprinted like 6 months later. I think it was literally 6 months in the what's it called? The Legendary Duelist Season 3. Yeah, holy shit, July 22nd. So why was me buying this a mistake? You should have known this, or I should say I should have known this, because it was Battle of the Legend type sets. You're gonna have, we know the pattern, right? There's going to be a handful of cards that are going to be insanely shorted, and then the rest of the cards are going to be easy to obtain. Well, the cards that are easy to obtain are just not going to carry this set whatsoever, right? We have a whole bunch of Karibos, and while people do like playing Karibos, like it is a fan favorite deck, it's not meta, right? It's not even remotely meta. So it's not going to attract people buying a lot of those singles. And then all the other stuff, like there is literally nothing here besides like some of the Xyz, what's it called? They're not fish, jelly. Well, I guess jelly, or jellyfish considered fish, actually? I don't know. But the jellyfishes, or the kraken, or whatever the fuck these are called, but they're not carrying, none of this, nothing. There's more Karibos. None of these really easy to obtain cards actually carried the set. No one cares that they were in this set, right? And then the cards that were actually carrying the set got reprinted soon after, which you can't predict. So to, my, credit, I guess, if you want to say that, I didn't know. I didn't know they were going to get reprinted. So me going balls deep into this set, because I wanted some Magician Souls and a Dusted Gold. I didn't know they were going to get reprinted. But if you look at it this way, right? If you want to buy into a set and there's only like 5 cards that people are actually buying because they're popular or they're good, whatever, then chances are they're going to get reprinted. So why are you buying so much into the set when it's going to get cannibalized? It's going to get destroyed essentially by another set, right? And this is a perfect case of avoiding a set that has a whole bunch of short prints that are going to be reprinted, quite frankly, very soon, and where the rest of the set is literally meaningless, where people do not want anything from this set, right? And you can still see that today, like 3 years later. There's like nothing above $1.50 or some shit like that, besides Forbidden Droplets, a Dusted Gold, Malicious Bane, a handful of cards. Let me see. Relinquished Anima still up there. I think Nibiru's creeping up again, even with all the reprints it's had, and so on and so forth. So there's that. Now, Maximum Gold El Dorado was another mistake on my part. And this is an interesting case, right? Because So this is the second iteration of a maximum gold type set, and there are some interesting cards in here. But the thing about it is, we already knew that premium golds were not popular, to say the least, in the eyes of collectors, in the eyes of players, in the eyes of the Yu-Gi-Oh community as a whole. So going balls deep into the set was a huge mistake by my part. I think I bought a couple cases. I didn't go that balls deep, but considering I was still new to Yu-Gi-Oh, still new to the Yu-Gi-Oh community and filming and all this crap, I shouldn't have bought so much as I did. I should have just bought like a case, if that, because you as a YouTuber, you don't want to keep uploading the same content over and over again unless it does well, which I don't think this set really did that well, even on YouTube channels, right? Like people just didn't really care. Premium goals aren't that good. By the way, though, this is as an aside, right? So yeah, premium goals right now kind of terrible, but they might be good someday. So do not fret if you have these, because shit just comes back, right? People will people are kind of stupid in general, right? Like you look at a distribution curve of IQ, the midwits are going to be like the bulk of the population, and the midwits are really easy to control. I really do think that stupid people are a little bit harder to control because they have that skepticism, and the smart people also are harder to control because they are smarter than usual people, right? So they can't be manipulated as easily, but they also have the skepticism as well. Midwits just don't have any skepticism. So if you have given enough time, if some really good popular influencer or whatever shows a premium gold card and says, "Wow, this I can't believe you guys slept on this," bam, guaranteed people are going to be buying this shit out. So don't fret. This set is like in a unique place where, yes, it sucks now. Yes, it sucked when it first came out, but there's some like it's unique. We'll go with that. It's unique. It's unique. So we'll see how it goes. But this set is also we knew from Maximum Gold 1 that it wasn't going to sell that well. And yeah, this one, what it did have going for it was alternate arts, which again got reprinted again. Yes, we don't know when cards are going to get reprinted, so we can't really gauge the set too harshly on that regard. But again, we already knew the premium goals were not that good. Why would I buy? I'm talking to myself in the past. Why would you buy this set? It just doesn't make any sense. And then also there's rare gold foil rares or whatever the hell, like a special kind of rare, and those also don't do that well. There was quality control issues and whatnot all around the board in this set as well. So buying into the set, terrible. There are some decent reprints, and by decent I mean like there's probably more than Brothers of Legend, but not that much. Also, the set size pretty big. So if you guys don't know, set sizes kind of tell if a set is going to do well or not. Usually, a 60 card set will be pretty well. It will do pretty well. Usually, because the pull rates are a little bit better. The higher the set size, the worse it'll do typically, but there are outliers. But I think this is also what did this set in, because like most people are going to be opening this up and they're going to be like, "Oh, I pulled a freaking premium gold Neos. I pulled a fucking head of Exodia, right? It's kind of useless." Let's move on here. So King's Court was another mistake. So this one is an outlier as well, 65 card set. So why did this set suck, or why wasn't it selling? Well, the main focus is an archetype will support for a specific archetype that isn't that good, right? It might be a fun little deck, but if the the cards aren't good, people are not going to buy them, right? And then the second draw was collector rares, which at the time was pretty big and actually was carrying the sets originally. But as time went on, collector rares got a little less collector friendly, quite frankly. Like that's kind of ironic too, the way Konami just ruined the collectability of collector rares. But I'm gonna digress on that one. So why did this set suck? Right at the time, I would say that investing into the set wasn't that bad. But there's one key thing that I want you guys to take out of this: side sets usually suck, and the reason they usually suck is because they're not all foil. People like all foil sets because all the reprints in here that aren't high rarity are going to be basically, like, people are just going to throw them away, not care about them, or they're going to go for something that's a little bit higher rarity, right? They don't like rares. And another major problem that these side sets have is that they reprint shit that just doesn't need reprints. Gravekeeper Spy did not need a reprint as a rare. It just did not. It was a cheap card. It is a cheap card. You can probably find it as a common. It does not need a rare printing. Utopia did not need a rare printing. Infinite cards did not need a printing at all, and it definitely didn't need a rare printing. Reinforcement of the Army, all of these didn't. They just didn't need the. I remember this as well. People were speculating that these were gonna be Pharaoh rare or some kind of high rarity, or some unique rarity, and they were just rares. I don't think they were even collector rares. Yeah, just rares. So this is a very, very bad set, and not even hindsight wise, because you gotta realize right now we know a lot of trends with these side sets. Side sets suck because of those two reasons that I said. It's not an all foil set. People like all foil sets, because imagine if this set was all foil and this was an ultra rare instead of a rare. It would have been more positive. It would have been seen a little bit more positive, because I think that would have been the highest rarity, maybe. Well, gold rare. Okay, I remember that. I remember that. Okay, so maybe not for this card, but for the Dread Roots and the other Wicked Gods, it would have been the highest rarity besides from Shonen Jump, because they were also ultra rares in there. And then the other thing is they're just needlessly reprinting crap that doesn't need reprinting, and we can actually see that in the latest set. Actually, this isn't unique. Actually, we'll just go with Maze of Masturbators, as Eric calls it. Asylum Magician level 8 didn't need a reprint, did it? Like, did it really need a reprint? It might be a collector rare, maybe that's why they found an excuse to basically reprint it. But there's a lot of cards in here that really don't need reprints. Like all these Gladiator Beasts, do you need them as rares? Like, do you really need these as rares? And then all these other gladiator beasts, the sword souls, you need them as rare. These were the most expensive one was Moye at the time at like $5 as an ultra rare. Do you need it as a rare though? So we know the track record now of the side sets, and they're terrible. And at the time, I guess we didn't really know too much about it, right? When we had King's Court, but even then, we should have known when they were reprinting Queen's Knight, King's Knight, and Jack's Knight as just rares. Well, I guess they were also collector rares, but putting them as rares as pack filler is like a a big red alert. Like, God, avoid this set, because again, it's not a rarity increase necessarily. They are increasing the rarity as collectors, but those are 4 per case, and you got to get lucky to pull Queen's Knight, King's Knight, or Jack's Knight, or unlucky, depending on who you ask. Because, I mean, if you're a meta player, are you going to be happy if you pull a Queen's Knight as a collector rare? Probably not, right? So these were my biggest 3 fumbles when I first started with this YouTube and just vending in general. And I guess to summarize here, what were my biggest fumbles, right? First of all, buying into sets because they have a very small pool of cards that are actually going to be sought after that are also short printed. So this is Brothers of Legend to a T, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the time, 5 cards that people actually wanted besides Red Eyes Dark Dragoon that were in the set that were somewhat expensive, but they were insanely short printed. That it was like 3 per case. So getting your money back insanely hard. The rest of the set was trash, right? No one really wanted to buy anything else from the main pool, right? Not the collector stuff like Leviathan and the Red Eye Dark Dragoon. And then as far as El Dorado, set size a little bit too big, so getting what you want is going to be harder. And then there's also stuff that so the nostalgia pandering works unless the rarity isn't what people want. And premium golds, we knew enough before the set, right? We already had Maximum Gold 1. People did not really like the rarity. So why are you going to invest into a product where people don't like the rarity? So in the opposite sense, right, the reason why Bonanza is a really good set, even though it's, I think, like 3 times the set size or so, about like 2.5 maybe. So why did that work, right? Actually, no, maybe two, because I think it's 250 80 something the set size for Bonanza. Well, people like platinum rares. Well, now they do. At the time, people it was like split. But people definitely like QCRs, right? And people are gonna definitely try to chase the QCRs for the on the nostalgia polls. Like that's why Blue Eyes White Dragon is the most expensive QCR from Bonanza, right? But not the most expensive platinum premium premium gold from this set because people just don't care about premium golds, right? So if a set is hard focusing on a rarity that people just don't like, skip that set. Skip that set. Now, what does King's Court teach us, right? And to its credit, King's Court with the Pharaoh rares is actually kind of seeing this resurgence recently. So, again, given enough time, right? This is why the premium, when I was kind of focusing on the premium goals here, given enough time, an influencer with enough clout is going to tell the midwits that a rarity is actually cool, and then they're going to go monkey see, monkey do, and go buy out the cards. So don't fret too much on maximum gold. Give it some time, and maybe it'll go up in value. But so why did this set suck? It has a lot going for it, right? The set size is small, so it's not a gold, the premium gold here. And it's also the rarities. I mean, besides the rare ultra, people like ultra rares. People liked collector rares. I think that people have soured, include myself, on collector rares, but they like collector rares. So why does this set suck, right? Well, it's kind of the same thing as Brothers of Legend, right? Where we have a whole bunch of pack filler and people just don't want to, they just don't want bulk, man. So they're not going to want to buy this set. They're just going to want to buy the singles. And then the stuff that's higher rarity that Konami wants you to quote unquote chase, like the Joker's stuff, well, the archetype sucks. So, or it's not as good, right? Like it's never going to be meta with the current support. So people are just not as interested in it. So the set is going to flop. Also, constant reprints, which again, we can't fault any set in that because we don't know necessarily when stuff is going to be reprinted. But with King's Court having a whole bunch of pack filler stuff that does not need to be printed, like in 2020, 2021 when the set came out. I'm looking at Warrior Returning Alive, Infinite Cards, Gravekeeper Spy, stuff like that. And if you're saying GOAT format, like, dude, if you're really focusing on GOAT format, Gravekeeper Spy probably was a cheap common in some sets. Infinite Cards, I'm pretty sure you can buy, like, it was like $1 card in some sets. And then the Warrior Returning Alive is like literally in every starter deck. So, no. And then the stuff that Konami did want you to buy, the new archetypes, were not that good or interesting for the community. So yes, I'm gonna leave it there. These were my biggest 3 L's when I first started in Yu-Gi-Oh vending and in this whole YouTube stuff. And let me take a peek real here if I skipped anything else. So again, I started this year. Ancient Guardians was another big mistake. Ancient Guardians has the same problem as King's Court, and this is why I'm saying, like, a lot of these main side sets and main sets you guys should avoid, especially if you're starting out and don't know too much, because the side sets will burn you just because of the pull rates and whatnot. They've gotten better. They've gotten better, but they're still not that great. And then main sets are just kind of random depending on what is meta and what people actually want to play. Quite frankly, like if it's meta but it's not like tier 0 and it's not interesting, then people are still not going to want to play it or not pay as much to play it. So there's that. I think a lot of the biggest fumbles that I've made do involve side sets though, and that is why I stopped buying side sets. So I did learn my lesson there. Hopefully you guys learn a little bit of something here and don't get burned, right? You don't want to make the mistakes personally when you have people like me that make the mistakes for you. Learn from my mistakes. Do not buy sets just because you think that you're going to make a lot of money, because chances are you're probably not. But also try to avoid the sets that you know are not going to make you money, right? Because at the end of the day, you're probably not trying to be a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. You are just trying to break even, quite frankly, right? So that is the video, guys. Catch you guys in part 2 on what makes a set good, which I guess we kind of touched here a little bit, but we'll go a little bit more in depth on that one.
Big thank you to the channel members, Eric Moreno and Burn My Dread. You guys rock.